No, I can pull up the agenda when you're ready. Just give me a cue, Mayor.
We're good to go, I think.
Yep, 7 p.m.
Good evening, Oak Park. I'm Marion McClellan, the mayor of the city of Oak Park. I'd like to thank you for joining us at our second virtual council meeting. We're broadcasting live on YouTube and on our cable channels. There will also be a moderator, Director Maroney, who will help with the public hearing part and the call to the audience part. Agenda items 7 and 16. First, this meeting is called to order. City Clerk Ed Norris, would you call the roll?
Mayor McClellan.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Burns. Councilmember Radner.
Here, even though I can't figure out how to make this video work.
I can hear you. Councilmember Weiss.
Here.
Councilmember Edgar.
Here.
We have a quorum. Council member, Mayor Pro Tem Carolyn Burns was at her brother's funeral. One of the people who lost their lives to the virus. If we could have just a moment of silence to think about him and the 30 Oak Parkers who were also. Thank you. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Councilmember Weiss, and we need a second.
Seconded.
Councilmember Edgar.
A second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We have a small consent agenda this time. These are presented as a single item without discussion. 1A, regular council meeting minutes of April 6th, 2020. And B, request to approve a 1-year lease extension for 13650 Oak Park Boulevard, Suite A to Hatsala of Michigan. Their motion to approve the consent agenda.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Are there visiting elected officials? Let's see one here.
I would ask if there is a visiting elected official, have them raise their hand in the bar on the right.
Oh, the bar on the right. Ah.
Yep.
All right. We can move to the public hearing. This is a public hearing to receive public comments regarding the request by Dog and Pony Show Brewer, Kyle Gerarda, 14661 West 11 Mile Road, for the issuance of a license permitting consumption of alcoholic liquor on the premises of a restaurant operation or microbrewery. Public hearing. Is Mr. Gerarda here, available?
I am.
Yes. Hello. Just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit. My favorite story is how you got the name.
Sure.
About your establishment.
Yeah, I'd love to. I just want to thank everyone for taking the time. I hope everybody's safe and healthy given the circumstance. This seems to be the new norm for meetings. So I certainly appreciate everyone's time. So my name is Kyle Gerarda. I'd be the owner operator of Dog and Pony Show Brewing. We are looking at the location that's on 11 Mile at, I believe it's 14461 or
14661.
Thank you. Haven't memorized the address yet. So that location, obviously, we want to turn it into a brewery. It'll be myself, my brothers working with me. I believe one of them's on the call at this time, and then one of my other partners is a brewer. He owns a brewery in Florida. So we are very excited to be part of Oak Park and what you guys are trying to build, even amongst everything that's going on right now. So the story the mayor was referring to, the name itself, growing up, my family grew up with 3 boys in the household. So obviously we could get a little rambunctious at times, as brothers do. And it was commonplace for my dad to come into the room, and if things were going a little crazy, he would ask, what is this dog and pony show that's going on right now? So as we sat down and talked about it, that name kind of resonated with the 3 of us. And so that is what we went with.
That's a cute story. So you are our light in the darkness, kind of good news in the midst of a bad time, having a brewery with a lot of background experience behind it to come to our city. Is there anyone else here to speak to this public hearing? Kim, do you have anyone?
Yeah, Mayor, what I would ask you to do is to read in the yellow text, or I can do it for you. What we'd like the guests to do who are participating via Zoom is to use the raise your hand function, and I'll call on you by the name you provided. And then after that, we'll provide anybody calling in by phone an opportunity to weigh in. I'll unmute their phones and call by the first letter of their last name. And please make sure that you identify yourself and your address before speaking. So I'll look for anybody with their hand raised that wants to speak in regards to this topic. I see no hands raised. Let me unmute all of the people who have called in by phone, and we can give them an opportunity. Sorry, this takes a second. Okay, so I believe I've unmuted everybody who's by phone. If your last name begins with the letters A through M, if you'd like to speak, go ahead and do so now. Hearing none, call on anybody with the last name of N through Z. If you'd like to speak, you can do so now. It appears 248-789-2025 wanted to speak. Or it's just background noise. Okay, I think that is just background noise from that person. So I see nobody who wants to comment from the public. You can resume the meeting there.
Then we can go to the resolution.
Madam Mayor, you need
Yes.
to, it would be good to close the public hearing.
We are closing the public hearing now and moving on to item 7B in the agenda. Resolution approving the issuance of a microbrewing license to Dog and Pony Show Brewing at 14661 West 11 Mile Oak Park, Michigan, 48237. Their motion to approve this license.
So moved.
Second.
Red. Seconded by Rich Weiss. Okay, is there discussion about this establishment? Anyone?
Mayor, I hate to interrupt. It's
Yes.
Kim. One of our guests just now raised their hand. I don't know if you want to
Sure.
allow him an opportunity to speak since it's a little different.
Absolutely.
Okay. We have Marie Banda. Marie, you're unmuted, so you can go ahead and identify yourself and your address and anything you'd like to comment on.
Hi, my name. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
This is Dan Ross. I'm Marie's fiance, but we live at 1780 Royal. and it's like right across the street. And we just moved here in November, and we're really looking forward to having a place we can walk to, and kind of, we just hope everything goes well and that you guys can open up on time. And we're really excited for you, though.
That's great. That's great. Thank you. Thank you for your comment.
Thank you.
Yeah,
That's when I first ran in 2011, younger families were saying, we want something fun we can walk to. And it took us a while, but we got something fun. That's great. So we think we have a motion approving the issuance of the liquor license and micro brewing license. And we have a second. Any comments from the council? Councilmember Weiss.
Madam Mayor, I just want to echo the comments that were just made and the comments that you said. I think that there's a lot of bad news to go around these days. So
Yeah.
Kyle, we welcome you to Oak Park. We're so happy you're here. And thanks for bringing us some good news today.
Amen. There we go. Councilmember Julie Edgar.
Kyle, thank you for locating your business in Oak Park. How much has this virus set you back? When were you planning to open, and when do you think you'll open now?
Yeah, good question. I appreciate the kind words from everyone. Initially, the timeline that we had in place based on some of the things that we were, the building owner was doing for us in terms of improvements and to meet the standards we'd need, we were looking at a June, July, late June, early July timeframe of trying to be in the building. And then that following, it would take us roughly, depending on other issues, 2 to 4 weeks to get open from there. So right now, that would have put a grand opening, I guess, let's just say at the end of July, early August. Right now, I have communicated with the group that's doing construction. And so they believe, once we can, assuming that people can go back out safely, we're going to be behind the time that we would since this went into place, which was March 7th, I believe. So, that puts us roughly a month and a half behind. So I would project now September at earliest when we would be, to the point where we can at least get into the building and start to do what we need to do to open. Our initial hope was summer, but again, at this point, we're just all happy to be healthy and happy that we're able to move forward. So September will work just fine for us, frankly.
So is it possible for workers to be inside the building doing renovations anyway? I noticed there's some construction going on here and there.
It's a good question. I'm not qualified to deem what's essential or not. The last communication I had with Mike is some of the things that are in that need to be done will just be delayed until we're able to go back to work. And I haven't really reached out prior other than to say, hey, I hope you're okay. So as I get an updated timeline and as those things progress, I'm happy to share it with the city. Everyone's been very kind in helping this move forward. So certainly I'll work with you guys however I can in terms of updating timelines and things like that.
Thank you.
Right. So are we ready to vote? Ed, Norris?
Yes. We'll start with Councilmember Edgar,
Yes.
Mayor McClellan,
Definitely yes.
Councilmember Radner,
Yes.
and Councilmember Weiss.
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you. We have no communications or special licenses. That brings us down to item 10, county reports. I think Councilmember Radner needs to make this motion to approve payment of invoices submitted by Garen Luca Miller PC for legal services in the total amount of $15,487.05.
I will make that extremely important motion.
All right,
A second.
second by Councilmember Regina Weiss. Discussion? Roll call, please.
Mayor McClellan,
Yes.
Councilmember Radner,
Yes.
Councilmember Weiss,
Yes.
Councilmember Edgar.
Yes.
Motion carried. We are down to item 14 on our agenda. The city manager, Eric Tungate, will introduce Public Safety Director Steve Cooper to talk about Public Safety National Police Week.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of council. I believe we have Director Cooper. I think I see his name down there. Director Cooper, if you could
Yes,
take 14A for me, please.
I'm here.
Good.
I'm here.
There he is.
Very good.
Can
Good
you take 14A for me, please, sir?
Good evening, Mayor and Council and City Manager Tungate. I'm coming before you this evening regarding National Police Week. The National Police Memorial Day was proclaimed in 1962 by President John F. Kennedy to be May 15th of each year, and Police Week was proclaimed to be the calendar week which contains May 15th. This year, that week is Sunday, May 10th through Saturday, May the 16th. And I'm requesting that City Council approve the flying of the thin blue line flag at City Hall on behalf of the Oak Park Police Officers Association of Michigan from Sunday, May 10th through Saturday, May the 16th. The thin blue line flag is a 3-foot by 5-foot nylon flag with 2 black bars and 1 smaller blue bar in the middle. The thin blue line flag represents the honorable sacrifices made daily by the law enforcement officers across this great nation and is recognized as a symbol of support for law enforcement around the country. This request complies with the administrative guidelines set forth by City Manager Tungate and the City Council.
Okay, we have a motion to fly that flag for that special week.
So moved.
Second,
I'll second.
okay. All those in favor?
I have a question, Madam Mayor.
Oh, yes, a question, sorry.
This is really for our attorney. Ebony, you can hear me, right?
Yes.
Yes, I can hear you.
There was, I remember last year, there was a flag that we ended up hanging up at City Hall. And there was a great deal of discussion that took place before we put it up, making sure that it's just a time, place, and manner restriction. And there were policies that we put in place, and there was, I believe, an ordinance that we adopted, only allowing us to fly flags under certain circumstances. Obviously, making any exception to any law is a dangerous thing for us. It's a very slippery slope. I just want to make sure that whatever it is that we're doing today complies with the ordinance that we put forth when that came up last time.
Yep, just to refresh everybody's recollection, that was back in June last year, 2019, where this question came up. You all did adopt an administrative policy, which this is consistent with. That policy states that council reserves the right to choose which flags you may or may not fly at city-owned properties. Any flag shall comply with the U.S. Flag Code. That the city will consider any requests for observances implemented by presidential proclamation, executive order, and public law or government flags. And your only other, well, you had a stipulation you wanted to see a copy of the flag. It had to be 3 feet by 5 feet with placement for holes. And then the request should have come in for 30 days prior. At that same meeting, you also issued a motion to waive a 30-day requirement and allow, at that time, it was a pride flag to be flown at City Hall. And you also permitted the consideration of any exceptions to the 30-day requirement with good cause showing for all future requests. So that's the very detailed synopsis of your policy on the flag flying.
Okay, and this is a recognized week by, what is it, by President Proclamation?
That is correct.
Okay, so then this does comply with our ordinance, that this is a flag that, even though the flag itself is not accepted by any formal government body as a flag, it represents a week which is accepted as Police Week by way of presidential proclamation. I understand it correctly?
That's my understanding.
Okay, awesome. Well, in that case, just one thing I'd like to say to Director Cooper. You're probably one of the finest police chiefs I've ever encountered anywhere in my many dealings with many police forces throughout the country, and I commend you for that. So out of nothing but respect for you and deference for you and the brave men and women that wear the uniform under your leadership, my vote is going to be in favor of this. Thank you, and thank you to all those who serve us.
God bless you and thank you.
Madam Mayor,
We have a motion and a second, Ed? Yes,
I have one more question.
yes.
So I like the flag, I like the look of it, but I don't know that most people are going to recognize what it is. So are we going to post something on our website or otherwise let residents know what the flag means, what it symbolizes?
Yes,
We should.
yes.
I remember asking what that flag was and what it meant. I remember not knowing that was. So I'm sure I'm not the only one that didn't know.
Right.
That's a great idea. Mhm. Are we ready to vote? All those in favor?
I
Any opposed? Same. Unanimously, we love our police department, our public safety department, its chief and all of its officers who are going out there doing things we're afraid to do, is be in the public, deal with the public during a dangerous time. And bless you all and stay well.
Thank you.
City Manager Tungate, I think you're on coronavirus update.
My favorite. Okay, council members, I'm going to give just a brief update, and then I'm going to segue right into C, the extension and revision of city directives. So as of 5 p.m. yesterday, there were 415 positive cases identified by the Oakland County Health Department in the city of Oak Park, with 30 deaths counted in the city of Oak Park. And from my tallies, that makes us the second highest total case count in Oakland County. There's a zip code in Southfield that has exceeded that now, unfortunately. We are still waiting to hear what the new workplace control guidelines are going to be. We got a taste of it today during a couple of our calls. We do not yet know if the current lockdown is going to be extended. As of right now, the governor's lockdown is, if you will, is extended out till April 30th. In the meantime, as you know from our previous meeting, I've assembled an Oak Park recovery team consisting of key stakeholders from within our city government. I would like 2 city council members to sit in on this. And if I could, Madam Mayor, just request yourself and Councilmember Weiss, just out of respect for the time for the others, if that's okay with the rest of you, but I'll let you guys decide that. We will be meeting again next week, and council, if you're agreeable to those 2 members sitting on this group, then I will extend the invitations out to you. The things this group will be taking into consideration are as follows. First, when will we reopen our doors to the public? And keep in mind, just because the lockdown order expires, let's say on April 30th, doesn't mean that that's when we're going to open our doors back up to the public. How are we going to transition our employees back into service? We've been talking quite a bit administratively about the employees coming back and how we're going to do that. The criteria for returning to work here could include testing, training, establishing common entrance points, putting in touchless thermometers. I mean, you name it. Also, what will our new human resources and work control policies be? Our human resources director, Vicki Brooks, is going through all of this with a fine tooth comb. In fact, we have a call tomorrow with our labor attorney to go through some of that. What costs have we incurred and what future costs will we incur? And what costs are eligible for reimbursement through FEMA? Director Van Vleck has submitted our initial application for FEMA reimbursement, and she's tracking all of our costs associated. Some of our costs associated to this whole crisis are not cost as much as they are losses of revenue. Financial planning, we're going to be reviewing all revenue streams and taking reductions into account. The finance director and I participated on a call earlier today that with Treasury, and they noted in that call that our constitutional state revenue sharing payments are going to be, for the next 2 payments at least, are going to be reduced by half to the tune of about $400,000, give or take. We also need to decide in the next few weeks, if not sooner, summer events and activities, what programs and events can continue with safe social distancing and which ones should be delayed or canceled. Then we get into the business assistance side of it. Director Maroney has been putting together a list of business assistance items that we're going to be considering. So basically, what programs can we offer to assist our businesses? And that may even include a one-stop shop center for businesses recovering or wishing to start up right here in the city of Oak Park. C is really a replay of some of the things I've already asked you about. I'm asking you to comply with the governor's order supersedes local law, obviously, but in terms of formalizing the stay home, stay safe order, I'm asking you to continue the closing of our buildings except public safety to the public through at least April 30th. I'm asking you to continue to offset the online payment vendor fees through at least April 30th, which would continue to encourage people to pay their bills online. I'm asking you to continue late fees and penalties being suspended through April 30th. I'm asking you to continue no water shutoffs shall occur through April 30th. And I'm also, and this is a little bit of a change, but boards and commissions may conduct meetings remotely through at least May 12th. And that would comply with the executive order. And I don't have which one of the executive orders, there's been so many, but one of the governor's executive orders allowed that to continue through May 12th. So with that, I will, oh, and one more thing. The local emergency declaration we determined was already in place and did not need to be extended because it still applied. So I would have had that on here otherwise. Are there any questions or comments?
I have a question, Eric.
Yes.
So we know that, oh, excuse me. So we know that we're going to suffer in terms of the state revenue sharing portion that we're going to get. When are you going to be able to assess all the other financial damage from this virus?
Well, we're doing that now. A lot of as I was discussing in our budget meeting earlier, a lot of the financial damage is going to occur in the current fiscal year. So we're not really going to carry, at least as of now, we don't think we're going to carry in as much of that into the new fiscal year, but we are in the process of evaluating what the extent of the financial damage is going to be in the current fiscal year. And, I'm totally ballparking this because I don't want to commit to a number yet, but we've spent a couple $100,000 at least out of pocket on this thing in time lost and revenue lost and extra expenses and you name it. So we're going to carry that into the end of this current fiscal year and have to adjust for it. The good news is that the city is on solid financial footing. So I don't really see us having to increase taxes or anything like that. Of course, we've been saving money in our rainy day fund, our general fund balance for many years now. So this is the kind of situation we've been preparing for.
What was that general fund balance pre-COVID?
Our general fund balance today stands at about 4 million. It's about 20, I think is Sandra here, about 21 or 22% of our general fund expenditures. I don't know if Sandra wants to weigh in, but our policy requires us to have at least 10%. So we've doubled the amount that we've needed to have on hand per policy.
A message learned from the 2008 crisis, and our city manager was very firm about bringing up this amount of money and holding it safely for just this kind of crisis. And we thank him for his foresight.
Thank you. Yeah, and Madam Mayor, if I could just add to that, you know, having a 20% general fund balance, while that's, you know, that's great in the sense that we can deal with a short-term crisis like this. You know, if this were to go on, you know, longer than, you know, 3-4 months, let's say, you know, we would really begin stretching. We wouldn't be alone. I mean, there's reports in other larger cities that are just being devastated by this whole thing. So, you know, that's going to be able to get us through a very short period of time, which is great. But hopefully the impact of this whole thing goes away quickly. I read through a University of Michigan policy study, economic policy study the other day, and they're usually pretty close to right on. They see a very sharp decrease, and we're seeing that now, obviously, but they see that followed by a very sharp increase in 21. If that holds true, the fund balance should sustain us until that time.
Good work.
Is a vote required for the extension of the city directives?
Yes.
So is there a motion to extend and revise?
So moved.
Councilmember Edgar, and is there a second?
Second.
Councilmember Weiss. Any discussion?
Madam Mayor, if I could just say one more thing on this topic. I just want to commend City Council and our staff and public safety, and especially our residents. I know this has been just absolutely terrifying. And our residents are, for the most part, following the rules, and it's starting to pay off. This is not easy. There's not a playbook for how to deal with a pandemic. Certainly not one that I've read. A lot of this is new to me, let alone our residents. So I just want to really thank everybody for all their hard work, especially our staff and our residents. Because again, it's starting to pay off. Hopefully we can put all this behind us, and our society, our city, we're going to evolve from this. We're going to become a better city, a better society from this, I can assure you. But we are going to make it through, and you know, never fails. You know, this too shall pass, and we'll be better for it.
I have a question.
Councilmember Wren.
What is this committee? I guess it's not a committee. What is it that you need 2 council members for to meet with about Corona? Is it a formal committee or what?
This is not I'm glad you asked it, because I wanted to say that this is not a standing committee. Obviously, council members, you know that in the charter, we're not allowed to set up standing committees of council. This is a temporary committee. Councilmember Radner, I think it's absolutely critical that 2 of you are involved in these discussions, given the magnitude of them. These discussions are going to result in some pretty serious recommendations, you know, canceling all summer events, for example, and those kinds of things, those considerations. And I'm not saying we're doing that yet, but those kinds of considerations are very serious things. And then in terms of our city policy, how we evolve, and are we going to put you know, stand-up thermometers in every common entrance and these kinds of things. It's going to involve a lot of input from City Council. So in my opinion, it's advantageous for us to have the legislative body directly involved in those discussions.
Can I make a suggestion? This is going to sound exceptionally rude, and I apologize for that in advance. I mean, especially when you hear what it is that I'm about to say, and I don't mean any disrespect in any way at all. Okay. Madam Mayor, I'm going to suggest that the two members are Regina Weiss and Julie Edgar. And I don't mean that as disrespect to you in any way, shape, or form. The reason behind what I'm saying is obviously I think Regina would be very, very well suited for a committee like this. Although, I mean, I guess she's not technically a veteran on city council all that much. You've been here for a couple of years. I guess that makes you enough of a veteran. She has the posture and understanding of somebody with far more experience than that. And given Julie's passion and the fact that she's really here for the right reasons, and I think she's really looking to really grow into this role. I think that, you know, I kind of want to, I'm of the belief that people learn to swim in the deep, not in the shallow. Madam Mayor, obviously we already all are aware of your guidance and your professionalism, and
We're good with that if
and
Julie's good with that.
I know that you're going to be involved in this one way or the other, whether they're talking to you, obviously never three at a time, or if Eric's talking to you. But I'm just going to throw it out there and maybe discuss it a little bit. If I'm the only one who's thinking this way, then I apologize and I'll take it back. But like I said, it was going to sound exceptionally rude. I hope I cushioned it a little bit. But what do you think of my suggestion?
Go ahead.
Yes.
Oh yeah, maybe I should have asked you first.
Yeah, but thanks, Solomon. I appreciate the kind words. So my question really is, I mean, why not involve the entire council in these decisions? Is this something that it's ad hoc because we need to make these decisions quickly? I mean, why a temporary committee with just two council people? I mean, is that?
So, Madam Mayor, if I could take that, well, I can't have three of you because then it constitutes a quorum. So I would have all of you if we didn't have that issue. So that is the only reason that I suggested two of you. And with all due respect, Councilmember Edgar, the reason I didn't initially say your name was just because I know at some point you're going to be going back to work, I think. And I just thought time-wise it'd be easier. But hey, whatever you guys decide.
Fair
Well,
point.
I am at work. I just work from home. So I'm one of the fortunate ones who actually is continuing to work, but doing it remotely. So I'm interested in these issues, but honestly, it doesn't matter to me either way, because I trust that whomever is on the committee is going to make the right decisions. And I'm assuming you're just going to loop us all in to whatever you decide. So also, I mean, I'm unavailable to meet on Saturdays, and I don't know if that's one of your thoughts. You know, again, I'm not available on Saturday, so if that makes a difference, so that's a consideration.
Well, Madam Mayor, if I could just, I don't foresee us needing to meet on Saturdays unless we have an emergency situation, which this group will take up as well. But again, I think it's important that given the magnitude, there be legislative body representation on here. And really it's because, you know, the administration can go through here and make all the recommendations we want, but I would really like council's voice to be heard throughout the creation of those recommendations and the process.
And won't this ad hoc committee be reporting its recommendations to council, the full council? Yes. And then everyone will be making, having input and making a decision. So this is an ad hoc committee that's going to recommend some actions to city council and research some things.
That is absolutely right, Madam Mayor. I mean, the recommendations will come with a full-throated explanation and you know, in terms of how we arrived at the recommendations. All of the decisions that are going to be brought forward will be ultimately on council to decide. And so again, I just want to make sure that we're fully disclosing all of the things going into that and in our discussions of the recommendations we're going to create.
Very good. So we can go ahead with council members Edgar and Weiss. Everybody comfortable?
I'm
That's,
fine with it.
okay,
Yeah.
there we go.
Thank you, and I apologize if I made everybody feel uncomfortable there.
And then I think we're on approving language for proposals for the ballot.
Madam Mayor, we are in the middle of, we have a motion on the floor that we need to vote on. That was the
And
extension.
revision
the
of
order.
city directives.
That's correct.
And is this, can this, city clerk, can this be a voice vote?
Let's, if it's okay, we'll do a roll call. Would that be all right?
Sure thing.
Councilmember Radner,
Yes.
Councilmember Weiss,
Yes.
Councilmember Edgar,
Yes.
Mayor McClellan.
Yes.
Thank you, council members. 14D, council members, this is the ballot language that I would like to receive your approval to place these 3 straight millage renewals on the ballot. I wanted to get this on as early as possible in preparation for the August primary election. I wanted to make sure that I could get all of you here tonight. And since you are all here, if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them, but the resolution speaks for itself. We have 2 Headley overrides and then the library half mill expiring. And we'll need to, if we're seeking a straight renewal, then we'll need to put these back on the ballot to be renewed. And I should also add that you'll note that the mills are not exact, meaning, you know, 1 mill's not exactly 1 mill, and it's 0.9599 for public safety because of the Headley rollback. It's taken it down. So, and the same goes for the other 2.
So is there a motion to approve this language?
So moved.
Second.
Councilmember Weiss, and is there a second?
Second.
Second, Councilmember. All right, a discussion. Is there a lot going to be going out assuring people these are just renewals? A lot of communication. Yes.
Can I, Madam Mayor? Yes, we're going to be doing everything we can up to and including, you know, town halls like we've done in the past. I mean, obviously we have to be careful in advocating a certain position on any of these. But I think as far as providing static information, we're going to be doing a whole bunch on that. By the way, I should also, just in terms of our strategic thinking around why we would want to put these on the August primary ballot, that is because if it fails, then we have an opportunity to turn right back around and perhaps put it on the general ballot in November. And Mr. City Clerk, could you tell them what was the percentage we were talking about in terms of the straight renewals passing? What's the typical percentage?
Well, it's, I can't speak to the exact percentage, but it's pretty high.
Yeah.
When it's a renewal.
So are we ready to vote?
Madam Mayor, I just have a question about,
Yes.
so City Clerk Norris, what if we can't get to the polls in August? What is the city doing to ensure that people will be able to vote?
Well, that's a good question. We're actually waiting on directives from the state regarding those very questions. But my guess would be that there's a chance that the August election would be run similarly to what was done for those that had a May election, which was primarily done through the mail. And of course, we're set up for that. So, but we're still waiting to see what that's going to be like. There could very well be additional costs related to what's coming up in August. And so we're keeping our eye on that because obviously if you have the majority of your constituents voting by mail, there's a lot of resources related to that. So we're waiting to see. But this particular language has to be to the county very soon. So that's why we're looking at this particular language adoption right now.
Clerk Norris, my understanding is if it's run absentee, every voter gets a letter asking if you'd like to get an absentee ballot, not just those who request it.
Well, the way it's set up now, it would be everyone that's on our permanent list would get the application. Beyond that, I have no direction, if it goes to everyone or not. I think they did some of that for those in the May election, so we're still waiting to hear.
Councilmember Weiss.
My understanding, and I may be wrong about this, is that the state approved funding for any community that had a May election to do a full absentee election, so that as the mayor said, everyone who was registered to vote was mailed an application for a ballot. I know that was only for the May election, if I'm understanding that correctly. So I guess we're kind of waiting to see what the state's going to do about the August election. Is that correct?
That's correct. And of course, May was a very much smaller group of,
Right.
of cities that had that election. So.
And a much smaller ballot.
Madam Mayor, may I weigh in on that
Yes,
as well?
please.
Council members, just keep in mind that a couple years back, we established a situation with our polling locations where we could expand and contract as the situation necessitated. So if we do get into a situation where, absentee ballots are how people are going to do this primary election, then, we have the ability to retract our polling locations. We're also in the process, and I don't know where we are with it, City Clerk, but in terms of the counting machine, we have a machine we're going to purchase that'll assist us in counting absentee ballots.
Well, we're planning to make some, no matter what, we're planning to make some purchases for aiding us in our absentee ballot counting. And one of that is a letter opening machine is what he's referring to. And so we're really trying to get ready for November, where we expect the largest volume to manifest itself, but it could be in August now. So we're on it. We're waiting to see, though.
Questions or discussion?
Would you like the vote? We need to vote on this
Yes.
motion.
Mm-hmm.
Councilmember Weiss.
Yes.
Councilmember Edgar.
Yes.
Mayor McClellan.
Yes.
Councilmember Radner.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Madam Mayor, members of council, that completes the city manager report for this evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you, City Manager Eric Tungate. And now we are at call to the audience. Please still limit your talking time to 3 minutes. Give us your name and address. We will turn this one over to Director Maroney, right?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. To conduct our call to audience, we are asking anybody participating via FaceTime to use the raise your hand feature, which you can find on the right-hand side when you have your participant screen up. I will call on you by name. After that, we'll go to people who have called in, and I'll call you by the first letter of your last name. And last, if there's been anything sent to our city clerk, Ed Norris, we'll turn it over to him to read into comments. Also, the chat feature, we will read anything that is typed into there as well. Make sure that you indicate your name and your address when addressing the city council. So I see one person with their hand up, Jamie Horowitz. I'm going to unmute you. And you can go ahead and speak now.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay. I don't think my video is working.
no.
No, okay. I'm trying to start it.
Hmm.
Go. Hi. It's so good to see new faces. My name is Jamie Powell Horowitz. I live at 26419 York Road in the city of Huntington Woods. I hope everyone on here is healthy and well, and that your families are healthy and well. It was really staggering to hear the numbers from City Manager Eric Tungate. It's a staggering loss of life. I myself have lost colleagues and friends at work in the last week, and I'm very sorry to hear about the numbers in Oak Park. That being said, our communities are doing amazing things. I've been following my friends in Oak Park on social media. People are supporting each other. They're supporting local businesses. Director Cooper, your department is just outstanding. Officer Cook and making the masks, passing those out was really a bright spot. I really wanted to introduce myself to anyone who doesn't know me. My name is Jamie Powell Horowitz, and I am running for 45th District Court. And I just wanted you guys to get to know me. This is a strange time to be campaigning. I've been a lawyer for 15 years. I currently serve as a special prosecutor for the Fair Michigan Justice Project. Our mission is bridging the gap and improving community relations between law enforcement and marginalized communities. I prosecute hate crimes, and I also prosecute cold case homicides for the Office of the Attorney General. I live in Huntington Woods with my husband and my 2 kids who are 8 and 11, who are really missing school and are going crazy, and we're all making each other crazy. And I can't tell you how happy I am to see all of these different faces tonight. It is a nice break, and I get to shut myself in my office, and I have a good reason to do so. Criminal justice and criminal justice reform are my passion. I know you guys have a budget meeting later this week. I know that things are not going to be business as usual when the courts reopen, and it's going to be a rough at least 18 months for the courts when things open up because of the log jams. I practice mostly in Wayne County and Oakland County Circuit, and they're not even doing jury trials until the end of August. And I spoke with Judge David Gubo yesterday, and they're making plans also. So I wanted you to know that I will be a good partner. I know that we're going to have to be innovative, creative, patient. And we are at a point with criminal justice reform where things are really starting to change, especially with the courts. People are starting to realize that we need to do things differently. And that includes things like the mental health court and the veterans court that you have. And we really need to expand those specialty courts. But I know, City Manager Tungate, that takes money. I want you to know that I will aggressively pursue funding from the State Court Administrator's Office and from the County Commission and anywhere else that I can find help to bring more services into our court. Thank you for your time. Thank you, Mayor McClellan, for endorsing my candidacy. Also, Mayor Pro Tem Carolyn Burns has endorsed me, along with City Council Member Solomon Radner. I have the endorsement of the mayors in all the cities here, and which I'm very grateful for. If you want to learn more about me, you can go to www.horowitzforjudge.com. You spell it. There's an email on there. You can also message me on Facebook, Jamie Powell Horowitz for 45th District Court. I'm really good about messaging everyone back because, again, it means talking to different people. So feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions. And thank you for letting me introduce myself.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you very much. Is there anybody else who would like to speak that's participating via Zoom? Please raise your hand. Seeing no hands raised, we'll move on to those that have called in. Give me one moment while I unmute those guests. Again, I'm going to be calling you by the first letter of your last name. Identify who you are, your address, and your topic for City Council. Okay, guests that are on the phone, if your last name begins with the letters A through M, you may go ahead and speak now. Moving on. Any guests with the last names beginning with N through Z, if you'd like to speak, go ahead and do so now.
Hi, this is Ken Sherman. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Mhm.
Hi, Ken Sherman, 23840 Jerome in Oak Park. Mr. Tungate, I forwarded you the governor's April 14th executive order regarding the electronics for commissions, just so you can look at it. And my question is, there's a library commission meeting tomorrow. Is that going to be held electronically? And if so, how does one participate in that?
Madam Mayor, do you want me to take that?
Would you please? Yeah.
Well, I don't, having the meeting tomorrow might be a little too soon in terms of noticing it, but, and I believe tomorrow's a regular meeting, but this is one of the areas, and I should have alliterated this a little bit better than I did a moment ago, but this is one of the areas where council is amending the authority they're allowing the boards and commissions to have, meaning the boards and commissions, if they so choose, can meet remotely like we're doing now. I don't know if it'd be possible to have that meet. Yeah, the city clerk's shaking his head no, so probably not. But this does allow for, and I did see your email already, by the way, and it does comply with the May 12th date, which is what council will allow boards and commissions to meet remotely through that date.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any other guests with the last name beginning M through Z? Okay, hearing none. Moving on to the chat room. I see no chats going on that are new. So I'll turn it over to City Clerk Ed Norris to see if anything has been sent to him to be read into record.
Madam Mayor, I have not received any communications via email or letter regarding public comment for tonight's meeting.
Thank you.
That will conclude the called audience for you.
Okay, moving on. Call to the council. City Council Member Bradner.
Good night, everybody.
Council Member Weiss.
Good evening, everyone. To start, I just had a quick question following up on what Ken Sherman shared out about the library board meeting tomorrow. For other commissions, what will the process be in terms of setting up online meetings? Is the commission expected to do that on their own? Is the staff liaison taking care of that? The council liaison? How will that be handled? Do we know that yet?
Do you want me to take that, Madam Mayor?
Please.
Councilmember Weiss, I would say that first, we haven't totally decided that yet. But as of right now, I think it's going to be a coordinated effort, beginning with the staff liaison, working with the city clerk, et cetera. As much of a superwoman as Kim is, I don't know if Kim's going to be able to handle all of these meetings. And just so you guys know, I have asked Crystal Van Vleck to shadow Kim to assist her on this meeting. So she'll be handling future ones as well. So more to come, I guess, is my best answer for you.
Okay. So commissioners should just be checking their emails.
Yes.
Probably. Okay. Thank you. So I wanted to, again, I know it's been said many times tonight and last meeting as well, but I just want to, again, thank all of the essential workers out there who are putting their lives on the line every day, in particular, our local public safety officers, for everything that they do, our city staff, people who are coming in every day and continuing to work. Thank you for all that you do, because we wouldn't be able to function without you. I also, as a teacher, I just want to send a special shout out to all the other teachers out there and all of the parents out there, because it is a struggle and we're all in it together. We're figuring it out together. So thank you for all you're doing. And then I also just wanted to give a quick census update. Currently, we're at 62.4% reporting for the city of Oak Park. We need to do so much better than that. It's easier to fill out the census this year than it's ever been, ever. You can do it by mail, you can do it online, you can do it by phone. If you should have gotten something in the mail to go online and fill it out, And if you did not, you will be getting a paper questionnaire in the mail. You can also go online to get the paper questionnaire, or you can go online to fill it out, or to call the number. The website is 2020census.gov. And the phone number, if you want to call in, is 844-330-2020. And online as well, there are numbers that you can call in several different foreign languages, including Spanish, Russian, and Arabic. So I encourage everyone to do that. It's critical. We need those resources in our communities for our schools, and for our community to function properly and to have the best representation possible. So please fill that out. Thank you, everyone, and have a good evening.
Thank you. Councilmember Edgar.
I also want to thank city staff and our public safety department for being on the job and keeping the ship sailing. And I just want to remind everybody to stay safe, keep your distance, and thank you for tuning in.
Thank you. Get a pencil and paper, because I have a number for you to write down. Following up on Councilmember Weiss, I tried calling. My biggest nightmare is that we don't get a lot of people going online because they don't have computers. We don't have a lot of people maybe mailing something in because they don't want to go to the drugstore and buy a stamp. So that leaves calling. So I placed a call just to see what's it like and what happens. And if you already have your pen and paper ready, I'm going to repeat the number Councilmember Weiss gave. 844-330-2020. That's 844-330-2020. If you call, encourage 3 of your family members to please call. My big worry is that because of the virus, they won't have people going out knocking doors for the people who haven't gone online or mailed it in. And if they do have people knocking doors, we'll be afraid to answer the door because of the virus, and our count will be down. So please call that number. Very nice gentleman has a recorded message at first, and then he says, you know, if you'd like to do this by phone, ask for a representative or dial 0. So I asked for the representative and talked to a lovely lady who is encouraging all of you to call and to have your address available, because they're going to be asking you for your address if you don't have the number. If you forgot the number that they give you, you can use your address instead. So your number, your street name, Oak Park, Michigan 48237 is what you need to have in front of you in order to participate in the census. And as you heard earlier, our revenue stream is going down in all kinds of ways, from state shared revenue to sales tax to everything. And so we need to really have a great year for the census. These are challenging times. We have finished week 4 of the state's mandatory shutdown. And we're doing a great job in Oak Park. High numbers of people are cooperating. We don't get to choose our challenges, but we do get to choose how we respond. And Oak Park has revealed its true character in this time of crisis. I'm proud to say that we have really stepped up. There's only a few that I know of, although I know there are lots more. One of them is Laura Rock, an Oak Park resident, who is full-time making masks to give away. So I got one with a sunflower on it. So thank you, Laura Rock. And if you'd like to drop off fabric, if you have it, to her house, she lives at 23091 Park Lawn. Tiffany Pugmire is our artist, our chalk artist, who is working off her COVID-19 anxiety by copying famous works of art in chalk on our sidewalks and bringing us lots of joy. Officer Robert Cook works a full day as an officer in our public safety department, then goes home all night and sews masks also, and is going to be passing them out in the park. He'll announce that on Facebook. We're doing lots of things we can be proud of, and we need to keep doing them. Forgotten Harvest, if you haven't heard, Wednesday morning from 9 to 12, there's a drive-up pantry. If just get in line in your car and they will put a box in your trunk, totally safe. If you're doing all right financially, would you please support Forgotten Harvest by going online or just dropping them a check at their address, 21800 Greenfield Road in Oak Park, 48237, 21800 Greenfield. Help our restaurants survive. Call in an order. They will do curbside pickup. I've seen Oak Parkers and staff show courage and compassion in the face of suffering. Stay home, stay safe. We're Oak Park strong. And this council meeting is over. Thank you for attending. Be well.